Just went for a jog, and as ever, reflecting on the mastermind group advice from some beautiful soul kin. We have a meeting once a week, and we hold each other accountable, hear each other's visions, and help each other get around our own self-sabotage. And those people, through going through so much together, know each other really well and know each other's own bullshit. And Alpha Mama is one of those people, and she gave me two really great bits of information about me. The first one is that I just need to do what I say I'm going to do. Yes, I do. And for me, that's a key part. Honesty and truthfulness is a really big part of my identity, always has been. And yet all of the ways that I lie go under my radar. By saying I'm going to do something, even if I honestly in the moment mean it, if I don't do it, that is a lie. All of the ways that I have excuses, all the ways that love can be used to distract me from what I know I should be doing, all of that. Yeah, anyway, that's the first point for myself. Do what I say I'm going to do. And the second one is that my key thing is aliveness. I talk about play, I talk about creativity, I talk about social programming, I talk about liberation, rewilding, all these kind of things. But at the end of the day, it's just aliveness. I like to brand, I like to tell people about the programs I'm going to run, but it's just aliveness. The one thing that I do is to get in, ideally face-to-face with people, in a room or in a field with people, and go, I'm here with you. Like we are in this dimensionality where putting something out and having it land is important. Otherwise, we're in our own internal world. And to some degree, I think that's always how we are, whether we're alive in our body or not. Like, we've got our own reference point, we're in our own dreaming. But the aliveness part, I believe, is when that one point of self can go out and land with someone else. And that's why acknowledgement is so important. That's why witnessing is so important. It completes a cycle of realness. And so rather than trying to wax lyrical and brand and tell people about all the programs, and I do have a lot of programs under the Open World banner, it's all story still. The simplicity is, I am always aspiring to be in front of someone who's wanting to come to aliveness, who's wanting to spew out whatever their inspiration is, whatever their gut inkling is, whatever their bold, vulnerable moment, whether it be taboo or perfect or whatever it is, but just to have it be real. How frustrating for so many creatives, I believe. I think that I can only go by my own experience, but we have so much, so many universes, so much that we want to give. And for it to never land, for it to die with us in our grave. Someone once said that I think the graveyard is one of the richest places on the planet because so many unfulfilled, brilliant innovations and ideas and social change movements go silent into the grave with people. I was listening to a TED talk by, I think her name's Carolyn Miss, really great one on choices and how important choice is. As a game designer, I know autonomy, being able to choose your own direction is the key. That's the key to open world. What's the difference between an on-rails shooter or an open world game? An open world game, you can choose what you do, when you do it, who you interact with and where you go. And that's what life is. So the point of this is just that. I hope you, whoever you are, wherever you are not empowering any external point to convince you that you can't come to life and you can't dare. You're not allocating your responsibility or your point of choice to anything beyond you. I, to be honest, am continually obsessed with how I'm perceived, with if I'm letting clients down or not, with the brand I hope the open world is inspiring, with because we're all just avatars, we're all just characters. Truth is, you don't know me, you just have this presentation of me. It's this interface between my innate reality and what I can put in your space, and then of course there's your filter and how you decode my words. It's all an arbitrary subjective warping of what is. But I just hope this avatar of me calls to you in this moment and welcomes you into aliveness. And I think that power and freedom are two key points. I've seen some comments here. Gaia, be real. Petra, Athena, thank you. It can be so challenging for introvert intuitives to use our voice and get out there. I understand that, absolutely. I also challenge that idea of self-classification as introvert or extrovert because, and I don't mean to push unnecessarily on self-declared truths, but a big part of open world is letting go of story. When I'm running, and this is one thing I've been doing, and I really encourage people to do this, when you're doing physical exercise, couple it with intention. We talk about the 5-body system when we're doing the spiral, talking about the spiritual space, the mental space, the energetic space, the emotional space, and the physical space, or bodies. And coupling the physical, sweating, running, pushing, or making love, whatever it is, that embodied actuality, the landing, the somatic reality, with an intention. It is a beautiful coupling. And when I run this story, I guess it's all a story that I try to plug into beyond the identity of self, of being introvert or extrovert or this or that, or good at this, bad at that, is simply that wilderness of now. When you feel, when you clock, when you tap into the predator eyes, they are so extroverted. They're so attent on the moment. And I don't think it is because it even has a chance to come into the internal extrovert, how do I respond in this moment? It is purely the force of being attentive and serving the moment beyond us. And I think that is love, that is truth, that is how we serve, that is how we show up. Because sometimes a moment might require us to be introverted, sometimes it might require extroversion. Sometimes our identity should shift to truly support and complement what is happening beyond us. And I think that is the true place to be at peace and to be, I guess they call it the void, the nothingness. So, in those moments of stillness, if we cannot have identity be the leverage point from which we make our decisions, that is where we can, it's like being a surfer, we can most surf and channel the inherent potential in our environment, in the people around us, in our climate, in the momentum on a swing, whatever it is beyond us. When we humans try to control, we take it in, we stop it. We have a reference point of identity and we initiate. We can only go as far as one person can push. When we are just allowing things to come through us, regardless, don't let it stick, don't let it have the traction on the ego. I honestly believe we can be either introvert or extrovert. We can be creative or analytical. We can be masculine or feminine. And it's so lovely to be flushed with blood, with breath, with chi, with spirit, whatever you think that is. And that is all I want to offer. I just want to offer myself in a space to welcome people into aliveness. So I'm running a play lab this week. If you're in Auckland, please come and run and jam and play and roll and characterize and play fight and be with us. If you are online and want to jam with me, I'm offering scholarships right now, just free training. Just come and give me your time and energy in exchange for my training. I've got a web link in my bio, and I'll actually add the scholarship form. So apply, there's nothing stopping you. I'm only taking a handful of people. I've already had about 30 people reach out, and I'll only be taking about 5, but still, put it out there. If you can help my work continue and you can fund me, amazing, reach out, let me know what you can donate. I was listening to Amanda Palmer, not sure if you've heard The Art of Asking, and her beautiful decision is to just give her work and to ask for help and support. And she got, I think, about $1 million on Kickstarter and continues to be funded through Patreon through what she does. What a beautiful exchange and ecosystem. And what I want to do in 2020 is work out the best system. I don't know if that's the best system, or it could be Patreon, it could be PayPal, just give them what you can afford. It could be me putting a price up front. I don't know. But what I'm determined to do is to have it all land. Because open world has many faces. There's open world theater, which is the playing with the avatar, the myth of our identity, being real, being authentic in the moment. It also has open world gymnasium, which is the physical training. It has a game called Vicarious, where you can play me as a human avatar. I'm doing it next week. You get to steer me in my life, and as we build the game, you can be played too. We have Beautiful Frankenstein. If you haven't checked that out, check out Bo Frankenstein on Instagram. We're doing some cool creative stuff with a crew of us in Sydney and elsewhere as well. There's Teapot Primitive. I do digital design, animation, websites, branding. Like if you need that face of you, you can reach out to me as well. There's Wonder Belly, which I'm launching this year as well, which is sensory food and sensory training and these meals, experiential dining. There's watermelon fireworks, which is looking at erotic art and using fun and innocence and play in our sexuality and our bodies and to love our senses and deliciousness. There's so many things. There's corporate consulting. I can work with open world methodologies in businesses and organization and staff and production and communication. There's individual, like, I'm bored. Like, it's just, those are all simplifications of the simple essence of aliveness. It's all just an ecosystem, whether it's an organization or it's a group, whether it's a community group, a culture, whether it's you and your family, you and your relationship, you and your body. It's all the same thing. It's simply an ecosystem. It's a system which needs to flow in order for that aliveness to have a pulse. The fact is, the universe is pulsing in a singularity and a unification, and it's just allowing us in these control points. We are the gatekeepers of different things, whether it be a business or our bodies or whatever it is. And to working out how we can allow that pulse to come through us, that is my single dedication and devotion. That's what open world is, or open form is. Inspired, one of the many inspirations is Bruce Lee, Jeet Kune Do, the formless form, be like water, my friend, as he says. How can we allow the richness of the modern day to nourish all aspects of the ecosystem of self? Too many coaches are focused purely on their brand and are arbitrarily cutting themselves off from the communities. And I'm not saying we can't brand ourselves. You know, we've got all these beautiful movements. We've got Alpha with Church of the Goddess. We've got me with Open World. We've got Sigs with Wild Grace, as messaging her this morning. We've got Dane with the Spiral. We've got Paisley with Shapeshifters, which is bringing out. We've got, so many cool modalities. But to be honest, I'm disappointed in us as a community. I'm talking to people in America, and they're witnessing the Australian, I'm in New Zealand, but I consider myself still be a part of that Australian collective because it's where I spent most of my life and I feel is my home and my family. I'm disappointed with the Australian conscious creative culture that we haven't worked more together, because we do come across, I was talking to someone in the States recently, we in Australia do come across as a particular force, kind of unruly, kind of just that Aussie, go get him, jump in there kind of feeling. But we could do more. But we are incestuous in our infatuation and our protection of our brands. Do your brands, but make sure that we allow the bleeding from all these things to go. We should be the Spice Girls, the Wu-Tang Clan of consciousness. We are better together. We are more interesting. We can cater to more people when we are a collective. And so I am definitely interested in collaborating, but I also don't believe in just the open-ended equality of we're all the same. We are all the same in our essence at source point, but what we do between there and actuality is very diverse. And so I want to be matched by people. The same thing with scholarships. It's not about the money. It's about, can you match me with energy, intensity, intelligence, creativity, bravery, authenticity? Because that is the exchange. That's just the truth. Because that is where the truth is honored and we can grow. If one of us are not honoring it, it's just going to fall apart. So I'm wanting to match with leaders, with innovators, with people who are dynamos, who are creating new things, who are openness, who are fearless, who are not possessive, who believe in open form and open source. You can take my stuff. You can take anything I make and create something more with it, because that is the truth. The idea of copyright and the idea of limitation and the idea of being protective is just not the truth. It is unnecessarily siphoning off energy and intelligence into these little estuaries, which are clots in the ecosystem. At the same time, I want the wherewithal to be able to travel, or to be able to do this full time, to be able to fund things, to be able to even print a sign so I can stick it in the ground when I'm in a park or I'm in the street, so people can read it and know what I'm doing. In the meantime, I'll hand paint it, but I want some exchange. So if you are watching this and want to share in a live with me, you tell me. I don't know how we can exchange, but 2020 for me is putting that flag in the sand, not to possess, but to declare and be a beacon of what I can offer. It's open world realities. I believe that, as Jason Silva said, quoting someone else, that reality should always be used in inverted commas, because it is always a warped. We live in a mediated reality. This Facebook internet thing is just a beautiful metaphor for the actuality of the Maya, of the illusion. And it's just a shell game, whether it be the internet or whether it be our senses coming in to our periphery, and then we convert those signals into our interpretations, whatever it is. It's all just an arbitrary interface between different layers and dimensions. So if you're watching this far, I've been going for a while, there's 4 people watching: Marie, Petra, Gaia, Seda, Hara, Mike, Stacy. Thank you for watching. I'm just so frustrated with myself that I haven't presented myself clear enough until this point. I want to help you, but I can't flow my energy in all directions. I want to whip it. You know when you're doing the roller skating game and you grab someone and you throw them around and your momentum adds to their momentum, double bounce each other on the trampoline. How can our momentums merge, fuse, diversely, syntropically support each other? Not entropy, not going away to disperse and drain, but syntropically. Big respect to Sebastian Kitchen and his doco, looking at syntropy, the natural inclination of life to lean towards and support other life. So if you're feeling this, and if you know you're not at your edge, let me be a beacon or representation. If nothing else, that is what the avatar of Atlas Talisman, I hope, represents, is a welcome to the border or the edge of what's known. And by known, I mean in control. My beautiful partner Naila says that control limits experience. And if we are here to do one thing alone in this human life, I believe it's to experience, because through subjective experience we come to knowing. And we're shifting through the scale from not know or unknow through to know. And I don't know if we can ever know until we are fully spiritually transcendent, but in the meantime, curiosity is the leading force. Are you fascinated? Are you interested more than being interesting? So, if you are watching this far, another 2 people watching, beautiful. Reach out to me. My frustration is not at you, it is at myself, because I haven't clearly articulated how I can help you. I'm so incensed at the inhumanity of our personal survival. How insidious a lie capitalism, consumerism, ego, the bespoke customization of our lives. What do you want? I don't care what I want. I don't care what you want. I care what is. Because the potential that we are all born with, or that we are drawn to through our fascination, our curiosity, I believe the genius, right? So the energy that was attendant upon your birth, the spirit that was attendant upon your birth, the thing that you are innately and natively curious and in love with, the thing that flows so easily is your genius, and it's what you're here to do. Unfortunately, in our modern world, we have all these weird economic structures that say it's only valuable if it delivers X, Y, and Z, you know? And we are so short-sighted with our ROI, return on investment. When you put money or you put energy or you trade or you do some kind of thing, you look, well, what did I get back? We're very transactional. We don't understand the big loop of the symbiotic ecosystem we are a part of. So we go, cool, I'm not going to do that because I can't see what I'm getting out of it. Like, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this Facebook Live, but let's be like a fecund, fertile tree that's just dropping these big bits of fruit and leaving it behind. Maybe someone else will interpret our masterpiece later on and edit it, as so many masters have done, or been done too, where we collect the resources, we collect the words, we collect the works, and we make sense of it later on. So let's drop our fruit, and let's trust that we will, if we ask for it, be supported. I would love to be supported, and I would love to exchange with bountiful creativity and intelligence and support. I love the idea of being over 24/7. I intend to be accessible at all times. If you want to reach out to me, let's work out how I can be on tap for you. But I need to be reassessing at all times where my energy is going. So if I have 100 people reach out to me, I can't work with 100 people. But maybe I can do 100 pings. And the strength of the signal I get back from 40 of them might indicate, cool, well, this is where I go. So I go from 100 to 40. And then when I witness you running with the thing and planting my seeds and growing another orchard, cool, okay, so those 20 people are who I give my thing to. And so we will work, and so we will work. And I am the best staff member you will ever have, and I am the best executive you will ever have. I am the best servant you will ever have. I am the best guru you will ever have. Whatever roles we want to play, it's all bullshit. It's all a beautiful facade. As Shakespeare said, the world is a stage. We are players. Right now, for some reason, you're watching this and you are calling me in to be this character. This is not me. This is just one little blip of a fleeting moment of a potential identity I can choose to step into. But it's pretty fun right now. My post-jog exuberant rant. High energy, Gaia. Yeah. Carly, thanks for watching. You can help me by sharing this, by commenting on this, by doing something similar to this. You can help me by messaging me immediately and telling me how I can work in with you. I'm so disinterested in the specifics as long as you are going for aliveness. And as long as, I said, I'm dedicated to aliveness. If I have one mission in this world, is to add my life to life, or add life to life. It is extremely disorienting to be in a world where there is so much injustice. And it is extremely naive to think we can change the world. But fuck it, I'm going to try. I'm going to want to be the shopping bag man in Tiananmen Square, standing with my little shopping bags in front of a tank. I'm going to try to be that innocent kid strapping wings to his shoulders with goggles running at the cliff edge. I'm going to want to be the archetype that Muhammad Ali, that Gandhi, that Martin Luther King, that Elon Musk, that's a big to put Elon Musk in the same realm as those guys. But regardless, that was just for those who wanted to get around the words and wanted to tap into the musicality of language. Regardless of what languages we are speaking, may we bring each other to life. Message me immediately after this if you want me to work with you, for you, by you, through you. I'm, as I said, running scholarships. In February, I'm going to be launching a really clear map as to what open world is in its entirety, because there's many facets. But if nothing else, I hope this Facebook Live has encouraged you to reach out into the world and to seek the pulse of exhilaration and bliss when you come to the precipice of the arbitrary precipice between you and existence, because we are in it. As we say, it's not us and nature, we are part of nature. It's not us and life, we are part of life. We just can't see it from the third person point of view. So we obsess from our anchor point of the subjective, but it's just not true. Because as much as I think I am me, really I am just what I am to you. That is how I show up to the world. The world sees me like one perspective. My point of view sees me I as I. But the world, which is billions of other perspectives, see me as this, as him, as her, as that. So surely that overrides. Surely those billions of point of view would be more correct than my one subjective point of view. So name me. What am I to you? How can I work with you? I am determined that open world this year, and by that I mean pretty much me, because I am the developer and designer of the open world methodology, which goes over 11 different archetypes and can be infused into pretty much anything. It's about aliveness. I'm determined that is going to reach the world this year, whether that be viral, whether that be successful monetarily, whether that be to create a cult of aliveness, the cult of one, each of us believing in ourselves and consciously and intentionally putting our focus on things, because that's how we are programmed, is where our attention goes, to program ourselves as the cult of one, the autonomous reality. I'm determined it's going to reach where it should, because it's not where it should be. Goodness is not where it should be. Art is not where it should be. Spirituality is not where it should be. Does that mean I'm not in appreciation of where it is? No. I love this challenge. I love this fuckfest. I love this big mud pit of pigs oinking and swallowing pearls and shitting them out and thinking they were nothing but acorns. I love the fact we don't see the trees that we're planting. Those acorns one day will be great oaks. We don't know what the fuck we are doing. Shut up if you think that you've got the answer, and tell me to shut up if you think. I love the conflict. We are at war. We are at battle. It's horrendous. So I'm not saying I don't appreciate this fight that we're in. But there is a beautiful way things are in a different future that we can make. There's a beautiful way we show up every day, feel the aliveness of our immediate environment, feel into our bodies through breath and movement, feel into our hearts, share our stories, meet strangers, make spaces, walk labyrinths, go through rites of passages, connect with lovers, speak to our communities, lead people, create new laws, undo injustices, go and serve. I know this, so I assume you know this. So it is with loving force, with power, not blame or judgment, I say, let's allow it out to play. And that is what I stand for. That is what Open World stands for. That is what I can do right now, today. I welcome a challenge. If you've got a business, if you've got a relationship, if you've got a personal gripe, if you need to get your ass off and work fitness, hell, even if it's financial. My story is that I'm not that good with money. Fuck that story. I'll be your financial coach. Hell yeah, let's do it. Challenge me, see what Open World can do. Because at the end of the day, it's just you. That's all Open World is it's saying, what's your integrity? What is the level, the standard that you know you would be damn pissed off with yourself if you allowed yourself to be 20 or 30 years into the future looking back and you know you didn't do? Did you take enough risk? Did you try it out? Did you let the universe, and by universe I just mean the collective of all the billions of people, plus animals, plus arbitrary energies, did you allow it to have a voice? Did you allow it to even reject you? Did you try? Did you go up and say, I love you? Did you go up and knock on the door of whatever it is, Apple, Google, some high-ranking space in your industry you want to work with? Did you dare to reach out to a celebrity, to an industry leader, to an influencer and say, I would like to jam with you? I want to write to Jim Carrey. If anyone knows Jim Carrey, I want to jam with that guy. I love him, and I know that I could add heaps to him, he could add heaps to me, and we're going to create an Open World play gymnasium, which allows us to do superhero training and allows us to get into our bodies, play characters, to connect with the void, to have meditation, dark rooms, flotation tanks. So if you can help me connect with Jim Carrey, let me know, because I haven't written to him. So I assume you haven't written to who you should reach out to too. But you should reach out to me. I might not be Jim Carrey, but I'm a little bit more accessible, because if you're watching this, you can literally message me right now or write to me at atlas@openworldtheatre.com, spelled OPENTHEATER.com, spelled the American way. And that's it. I wish you love. I wish you unbridled aliveness. I wish you the electric shock cattle prod of the electric fence of your own defenses as you step out beyond the automaticities, the safe harbor of your circuitry. And you will be zapped, because we have mapped the safe zone, and we are our own prison keepers. We are our own worst enemies. We know that. Star Wars told us that. You know, Luke Skywalker, he was just fighting himself. So you will be zapped. You will be punished if you dare to step out beyond the model of identity which you have survived through thus far. It makes sense that you will try to zap yourself back into place. So let's enjoy the fight. Let's enjoy the zaps, the cattle prods. Let's think to every single person that we hate, our nemesis, that ex that broke your heart, that person who fucked you over in business and stole your money, that criminal, hell, even that horrendous, abhorrent person who molested you or raped you or beat you up or car crashed, and like, what's the most horrible thing? I don't know. Someone who got drunk and smashed your car and killed your child. That's probably like one of the worst things I can think of. Let's look to them and know that however abhorrent they are, they are challenging us in a way, and that if we can take that as a reason to be, whoa, like, what's it gonna take? Is it gonna take that level of horrendousness for us to step up? Like, if someone come up, Hitler, cool, he's like pretty much it, isn't he? He's the archetypal encapsulation of the devil. He started this, not euthanasia, but this eugenics movement of killing Jews, I should say. And I'm actually Jewish. I actually have my grandmother, and through the female line, I'm Jewish. And I'm so many other things. I'm Scottish, Highlander. I am born in New Zealand. I really relate to the Maori warrior. I think I have some Greek. I'm definitely Irish. I am an artist. I have studied yoga. Am I a yogi? I've studied Buddhism. I've studied Kundalini Yoga. I've studied Scientology Dynetics. I've studied spiral dynamics, spiral emotional clearing too. I've studied acupressure. I've studied rebirthing breath work. I've studied tantric yoga. Is this me? Am I Jewish? Am I any of these things? No. I'm a pulse that's in your network. And I question how many of these characters we have to nominate externally to spur us forward. Do we want to nominate Hitler to walk in and tell us that our child is sick and they're going to be taken to a special clinic? We'll wait for the psychiatrist to drug our children. Wait for some person to walk in before we actually step up and do what we know we should do. I don't know. But I hope we can just nominate me. I hope that we can just nominate Atlas Talisman on a Facebook Live at the start of 2020. To be the avatar that said something or breathed a certain way, that had some kind of expression that said, now is the time to strip back all of the safety tape, to realize we are going to be zapped by the cattle prod of no, to try and keep us into the known, and we are going to step out into the foolishness. The zero card of the tarot deck, the Fool. Nothing is beyond God, i.e. nothing. The Fool is beyond God, i.e. the shape-shifting 0 point is beyond God. It's the idea of Shakti and Shiva, and what's beyond that? Kali, the destroyer, the creatress, the protector. So let me be curious. Nominate me, and let's step out beyond the safety. Do something crazy, like if you own property, what would happen if you proposed to all of your neighbors to merge, to destroy your individual houses and build a mega structure, creative laboratory and orchard? What would happen? What would happen if you invited me into your business right now? Put me on the payroll. And what happens if we pool all of our resources and we started a creative, spiritual, practical architecture firm that redesigned cities and went up and bought all of the abandoned cities throughout Eastern Europe and America and started new modalities of healing, of education, of medicine? Like, this is possible with the 8 people who are watching right now. Hey, Samram, you're watching. Sigs, you're here. Emma Burrows, yes. So what happens if we did that? We can do it. We can do it. How sad are the losses that will lie in a grave tonight because we didn't act. Let's take, for example, Elon Musk, SpaceX, Tesla Motors. There are a dozen or maybe even hundreds of similar businesses which exist in our potential and which will not birth because we are not as doggedly obsessed as him. Collectively right now, with the people who are watching this, with Sigourney, with Alpha and myself and a number of other people who's looking right now, we are absolutely at the same rank and capability as Elon Musk, as Steve Jobs, as this guy, Jeff Bezos. The richest person in the world is this dude, Mr. Bezos, who runs Amazon, who makes X amount of millions per day, worth, I think, over 150 billion. Bullshit. We live in a post-political era, post-politics. It's not anymore owned by a language barrier, by nationalism. There are individuals like these people I just named who have more currency and more social leverage than whole nations. We live in a post-politics era. I challenge you to prove me wrong by welcoming me into your space, assigning me a job. Both of you, I'm naming SIGS and Alpha because I know your businesses, Church of the Goddess and Wild Grace. I challenge you to give me a role this week in your business, and I know at least Alpha's going to do this, and have me fail, because this year is the year of failure. Let's fail forwards. Because, like I said, the biggest tragedy that will happen today is not the X amount of people who are going to die at war, is not the X amount of people who are just going to simply die with their dreams in their hearts, but it's the non-existence of the collective which could form today, which is going to bring resources in areas of executive knowledge, in areas of communication channels, in areas of creativity, in areas of building and agriculture, in areas of engineering and electronics, in areas of humanitarian outreach and emotional and psychological healing. That organization or charity exists, and it will not exist tonight when we go to sleep simply because we didn't reach out to each other. This video, to be honest, should go viral. It should get fucking million likes and shares, but I'll probably be beaten by some cat in a box. I want to have an open source. Okay, we had this thing called Race You to Greatness. Race You to Greatness started off with myself and Alpha and a handful of other people saying, I'm going to race you to be a millionaire. I should be a millionaire by the end of today because my inbox should be filled with numerous people challenging me, and we should throughout, this like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of separation between us and anyone in the world. All it takes is 6 shares of this video and I could speak to anybody in the world. I could connect with Jeff Bezos and he could give me, he wouldn't even miss $1 billion. And he could fund us, but the fact is we don't trust each other. To start that charity or that post-politic organization that would rival Tesla and would create a new city, because that is actually what I'm most excited about. Open world architects. Rebuilding. Let's rebuild a city right from under the nose of the other city planners. Do you know that Elon Musk has a company called The Boring Company? I love the humor in that. The Boring Company. They bore holes. He doesn't even get permission. He just starts boring big holes under cities because he can. And then afterwards the city goes, actually, that's going to help. Thanks. Yeah, keep digging. We know that the mining companies are digging out and we don't have rights. Forget the laws. I believe we live in a post-law society too. Because as we know, you can go and you can do things which are against human rights and against the natural law. You can keep fracking. You can pull out the ore of the planet and you can keep going. No one's giving you that right. We are surrounded by criminals, but they get away with it simply because they do it. So do it. I want to be the viral Shia LaBeouf who goes, do it! What, do you need me to shout in front of a green screen? Like, what's it going to take for you to nominate me? Because the fact is, I am just as inspiring as any other meme on the internet. But it just takes you to nominate me and share me and say and give me that particular role. It just takes us to give it that much importance. Whether it be the Australian bushfires or some kid washing up on the beach because he died because he's a refugee in a boat. Like, what's the next flash flood of attention? Make me that. Make me famous. More important, make our non-existent business, this thing, which I don't know the name of it yet, but let's build new cities. 6 degrees of separation. Tonight, I could be on a Zoom call with the people who have the wherewithal and the different areas. And this is the thing. We are so intimidated by the unknown that we think that our genius is worthless. I'm not great at financing development properties. I don't know that thing. Oh, that's such a big thing. But people who do development properties, I'm listening to this book by Grant Cardone, and he has $500 million in property and he owns something like 4,000 apartments. That's ridiculous. So for him, property development and like that's nothing. But he might not have my genius. And then someone else will have the public relation and they'll be linked into the news and media. Someone else will be linked into the cultural appropriation and the indigenous rights. And someone else would be linked into the physiological medical neuroscience. Like, our genius is easy to us. But just realize that all the other missing pieces are easy to someone else. So please, I really hope that right now my inbox is full. And I really hope that tonight I'm in a Zoom call. Like, I will literally pull everything else to the side, and I hope you do too. Because this is beyond our brands. This is beyond the next course you're going to do, the next fucking logo you're going to put on something, the next little modality you're going to create, the next Facebook Live you're going to do, the next investment you're going to make in property. This is beyond all of that. Because our dreams, our scope of progress has been limited down to what we think we can do alone. And that is one of the biggest lies. What is your dream right this moment? I think it's probably something that you can do alone or with a small handful of people. I'm going to launch a business. I'm going to do a retreat. I'm going to start up this little thing. I'm going to get $1 million by the end of the year. I'm going to write a book. That is a travesty. We are so much bigger than that. Steve Jobs said that this modern world was built by people no smarter than you. If we are not thinking of the scale of creating an entirely new economy, an entirely new city, an entirely new infrastructure, we have been lied to and we have bought the bullshit and we have shrunken ourselves down and we are so damn self-obsessed. And you might think it's unrealistic because you have to pay your rent. But if we actually stepped into this, and the thing is, you don't have to be the executive. You can just be the node in the network. Because I guarantee that with no more than 12 people in a Zoom call with me, I could buy a city, because they're selling these for like maybe $100,000 or so. If you go to various parts that have collapsed, big military industrial complexes. I think there's one in Santa Bay. It's in America. Anyway, there are these old military industrial complexes that have been shut down. There are these old shells of cities. We could buy one in the next week. And we could get a handful of people, maybe a few thousand people to shift in there. And we could test and trial things. And we could build, you get the idea. If we are not looking to build a new world out from under modern world politics, because they're all just popularity contests. They're not leading. They are led by the popular opinion. And it's not just needing to be popular. It's to have effective action. Even if we don't get a viral hit and we don't get spread, the effective action of a few small new cities sprouting up and building our own orchards and creating our own Nikola Tesla motors and building these things, that would be enough to turn the tides. When we can start reclaiming the waste, there is no waste. When we start to have a closed loop cycle, the plastic islands will be the new gold fields. These things that we think are worthless become valuable when we see what they can be leveraged into. There are already people innovating with bacteria that can turn plastic into fuel. What are we mining coal for? For fuel. What is one of the biggest problems at the moment? Plastic and clogging up our oceans. Our biggest problem is one of the biggest solutions we currently have access to. Now, this is probably not news. But I hope what is new, and this is the important thing, take this as new. Take this moment as something that is not just, I've heard this before. We have failed many times before. One of the key things that will stop you, and I speak this because I'm just talking to myself, I'm only a mirror. One of the biggest things that will stop me is the fact that every time I come to this precipice of change, I plug into all of my failed purposes of the past. Every time I change the world, every time I try to start a movement, every time I try to start a business, or just try to start a relationship, and I failed. That compounding energy and loss and pain and grief stands as the wall between us and the next innovation. So I guarantee that there is some cynicism, and even in myself, saying it's not going to happen. But that is the enemy. That is the thing that continues slave trade. That is the thing that continues unjust politics, war itself. It's bullshit. I say it's not okay with me that I live in a world where people continue to brag that they spend $1 trillion on their military and bomb people and turn our children into cripples and turn our playgrounds into graveyards. We are only an individual, and I am the one who allows it to continue because of my past failed purposes, which shame myself every time I try to start something new. So I say, fuck me, fuck my identity, fuck Atlas Talisman, fuck every story ever told that stopped me from doing something of true heart and naming the truth that we could change this today. And fuck you if you don't contact me. Fuck you if you are not either in that Zoom call with me tonight or doing what you can do to be a node in the network to connect me with the people, just the 12 executives from their individual areas of genius, so we can have a holistic and well-balanced business plan, so we can start building new cities within which we'll have everything you ever dreamed. Can't we see that thing you want to do, that organic farm, that permaculture, agroforestry plantation, that community for psycho-spiritual relief and sexual temple, that creative studio, that new world Stanislavski Theatre or the Montessori school or the holistic, like whatever you want, it sits within it. And the lie is that you have to do it alone, because you don't. The lie is you can't trust each other. We can. So I don't know what quotes there are. Scrolling, there's been a bunch of stuff. I hope you've shared this. And I hope you're putting aside whatever you're doing. Like, I'm fully available for this today, full time. I'll put my phone on charge. I will not go on silent mode. I will not go on airport mode. I want to be in a Zoom call tonight with however many executives we need to be to form a company to buy a city. And I hope that you have what it takes to get over the cattle prod of cynicism, which will tell you that this is not the most important thing you can do today. It is, because it is thinking on a scale beyond your subjective importance. It is this thinking beyond a scale of your personal brand, and is tapping to the truth of our single person ability to change the world. How naive does that sound? I'm going to change the world. How many generations have tried it before and been assassinated or just gone into some deviation, who have given into their own subjective desire to fuck their followers or to be ineffective? Let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's live in a meritocracy. Let's hold charities accountable and not siphon off our funds into ineffective means. Let's have an Internet of Things which has real-time statistics. Are we proving ourselves to really change? And this is not just pie in the sky, foreverness ideology. It's very specific. I want to buy a city and populate it with all of your dreams. Because your dreams are not that unique. When I talk to people, we want the same thing. Do you want to live in a collective on an organic farm off the grid, which has access to a temple, access to a creative studio, access to your own unique little hut where you can do your own practice, have a communal eating space where you can get up, connect with nature, still have Wi-Fi, connect to technology, and start showing new forms of any kind of industry, name your industry, and show it as workable in a new symbiotic world which will replace the archaic modalities of current industries? Chances are yes, because many of us want the same thing. So your personal dreams could be launched by 2021 if we can this year in 2020 buy a city and implement that exact dream, and through open source provide it to people in Africa, to people in South America. Of course, we need the local indigenous understanding and approval of the new technologies. It needs to be balanced. But in closing, it is a lie if we think that it cannot be done. And that single lie to self, which will deflate our beautiful humane desire to step out, is the Hitler within. Your child is being dragged screaming from your house right now. Your friend is being dragged and screaming into the fire right now. Your home planet Earth is being poisoned right now. You are being hypnotized and drugged right now by yourself. So appoint me, like I said, to be your guru or servant. Whatever fucking character you need me to be, I am the most important person you will connect with today, if you let me be. And it'll be a testament to our ability to truly overcome the loops of the past if we can circumnavigate all of the deep processing and healing and complex administration needed to be sensible about it. And simply and naively to have a Zoom call, which will go live on my Facebook tonight, or on the most high-profile executive, whoever that is, tonight, Elon Musk, Jim Carrey, Jeff Bezos, whoever it is, tonight, to say we are going to buy a new city and create it with your help. And yeah, we need to work out a system where your voice can be heard. And I understand that there are many reasons that new social political movements have failed in the past. But let's not allow that big numbing blanket of our previous fail of purpose to suffocate us. I understand we are working through the insulation of pain and numbness and unconsciousness, and you might go to sleep as you attempt to come to life. You might be forced down into your own self-doubt, but you are important in this network, even if just to share this video and connect me up in that 6 degrees of separation to the person who can be on that Zoom call and can share their genius. Please challenge me. Please prove me wrong. Let's dissolve our stories and take the action with the amount of energy and focus needed to truly bring this about. Huge love. Thanks for watching. I'm available. Message me now.